have those family meals typically are eating more fruits and vegetables, foods that are lower in fat. They're consuming more calcium, so we're building stronger bones, and all of that's going to lead to a healthier lifestyle. Kids also learn from their parents. So if you're eating together as a family and you're eating Brussels sprouts, and if you're eating together, you can share those habits. That also goes the other way, though, because if you're eating unhealthy foods, those are the things they're going to pick up on. In addition, family mealtime actually can help with better communication and with talking. A lot of times issues that they may be having at school may be brought up. You're having that chance to actually sit down. Kids are going to be more likely to tell you about certain things. Kids that eat together as a family 4 or more times a week usually have a higher self-esteem, which means that they're less likely to binge drinking and some other permissive behaviors. So they're going to be making better life choices as well. If you're having a hard time figuring out how to start the conversation around the dinner table, go to our website, denton.agrilife.org, and you can print off a list of conversations. Let me try it out. David, would you draw one for us?
Let me see what I've got. What is your favorite food and why? It has to be steak. I'm into the beef.
Yeah.
Food, especially oysters.
Oysters.
I'm going to say Tex-Mex. Can't go wrong. Cheese.
Yeah, I like Mexican food as well. I like seafood, so let's do shrimp fajitas or something. I don't know. A combination of both of them sounds good. Again, Denton.AgriLife conversation starters. If you're looking for family meal options, if you want to try something in your new menu rotation, feel free to check out dinnertonight.tamu.edu for more family mealtime ideas. David, what's it time to do in the area?
Now what we're doing is we're putting in our winter forages. And what we're doing is we're primarily looking at planting cereal rye, ryegrass, wheat, triticale. These are just a few of the different winter forages.
Triddle what?
Triticale. It happens to be a wheat, But yeah, we go out and we actually plant it, and then we turn the animals loose in there, and they actually eat on it. But right now on planting, what we have to do is we have to get a good seed bed started first. You can either plant into the weeds, or you can turn around and you can run a piece of iron out through there, turn the soil over, and then you can plant into that. As you're planting into it, what you have to make sure is that it's not too soft. You want to make sure that you don't sink up to your ankles when you're walking out across the field. So you step out on the ground, and if your boot goes any deeper than about 1/8 of an inch, then it's probably a little too soft out there. Let it rain on it before you start planting into it. But what we want to do is we want to go out there and then we want to plant into it. We want to make sure that we're putting the seed in the right place. The soil contact. If we get that good seed to soil contact, then once the seed pulls the water in and starts to grow, it doesn't dry out. It's got the soil around it to help keep it moist. If we've got an air pocket in there, the seed can die. Again, on our hands and knees and actually scrape out and see just how deep we're planting. We want about 1 inch depth. But if you've got any questions out there about planting wheat or winter pasture, give us a call or turn around the website or email us at agrilifeanswers@dentoncounty.com. Janet, what's it time to do in horticulture?
Well, right now we're very fortunate that we have a lot of rain and water. But we are always going to want to conserve water in our lake. And that's because our lakes are getting full of sediment. So they're actually becoming smaller and more shallow. And our population, as you know, in North Texas is just continuing to grow. So we're going to always have a problem with water, even if it's raining. And our landscape tends to use most of our option in our landscapes to conserve water by changing how we do it. Also, this is a good time, while we're getting rain, is to catch rain and rainwater harvesting. We have our colleagues down at the Dallas Center for Research and Extension, and they put together a really fantastic video. Patrick, who was featured in that video, is actually going to be in Denton teaching a class on large system rainwater harvesting. Information about that. But you can also have the opportunity to buy your own 55-gallon rain barrel for $50, and you'll need to register for that class.
That's less than $1 per gallon.
That is. That's
Pretty good
great,
deal.
isn't it? So, what do we need to be doing now in 4-H, Jessica?
Videos that we were talking about, 4-H runs in seasons. The 4-H season for this 2016-17 year is starting right now, and we are in what we call enrollment time. To get enrolled, if you are interested, you need to go to 4-H Connect or call us at the office at dentoncounty.com, and we'll help you and guide you throughout that process. Now, you might be wondering, who can enroll? Well, there's two simple answers. We have a Clover Kid program. That is for children that are in kindergarten to 3rd grade and might not be old enough to show like the older brother and 4-H member. A valid 4-H member is someone who's 8 years old or in 3rd grade and above and is not above 18 years old. To do that, it's going to cost you $20 if you register right now, but if you hurry and enroll before November 1st, when the price goes up $5 more, it's free. Enroll today and call us or email us if you have any questions.
This is the part of the program where we want to talk about don't try this at home. And today what I want to talk to you about and visit with you is 811. Now everyone knows a bunch of the utility companies got tired of having to go in and fix lines that people had cut, and so they decided to put together a conglomeration of all the utility companies, and they will do free location services out there for you. And this is what 811 does. So before you're going to go out and do anything in the yard as far as digging, pick the phone up, call 811, give them a couple of days notice so they can get out there, and a guy will pull up in a truck, hop out, flag off what lines are running through your yard, or more important, it'll find what lines are running out through the pasture or what oil lines are running out through there as well. But again, this is a free service. Now, the thing that Texas has decided to do is they've made it a law. Big. Make sure that you do that. And again, if you start digging before you do that, it can cause grave consequences. To give you a little bit of an idea, many years ago, my father was out digging with a backhoe in the middle of a field. And he basically took out the phone service to 3 counties. But, it's pretty tough when the telephone guy pulls up there and he says, you just spent more money than what you're worth. Now, that wasn't the case, thank goodness, but still, that kind of drives her to call before you start digging rather than have somebody pull up there and say, oh, you've just spent a lot of money you don't have. But anyway.
So David, once they come and mark the lines, are you then free to dig wherever and as deep as you need to?
Well, you've got to go, you're still responsible.
So you still need to be careful.
You got to be careful what you're doing. It's one of those things that you're free to dig, but again, do it judiciously.
This is the part of the show called AgriLife Answers where we answer your questions. We get a lot of questions into the Extension office, but we really want to encourage you to send us your questions and maybe you'll see them on the show. So let's start with David.
Great. Hey, Janet, one thing with our hay, a lot of people, there's an old adage out there that says, the horse people, they looking for hay that looks good and smells good. The people that are in the dairy business, they're looking for hay just off the forage analysis. And the people with cattle, they're just looking for hay, period. But again, and what we're trying to do is determine what is the best type of hay for that animal. And the best way of doing this is to go take a hay sample. And as we go take a hay sample, what we're doing is we have hay sampling probes that we can check out from the office to the people. Go out and you find a lot of hay. Now, what a lot of hay is not a lot of hay, but you want hay from a certain cutting, from a certain field, and once you get all that together in a lot, then that's what you go out and sample. And then you can kind of get what the nutrient values are. Primarily, we're looking at crude protein and TDN. That, for us, that kind of it's equivalent of like a steak in the potatoes. One's energy and one's protein. So what we're going to do is we're going to find a group of samples out of it. We'll put it in a paper sandwich bag, fold it up, write our name and where we sampled it from, and make a note to ourselves, this hay came from this area at this time. Then we'll mail it off to Texas A&M and about $10. What this allows us to do again is to turn around and find what stage of development the animal is in and then target their nutritional needs with that bale of hay.
Interesting. So it's like a nutrition label that you would see on a food product.
Just
but
like
for
on
hay.
just like on a can of nutrition label on the back, that's the same thing. Except it'd be a little bit big to put on a bale of hay.